Well, hello there everybody and welcome to the latest video on Wondersgta gaming. Really cheering them out lately, you know, loving the great stuff. I've got lots to talk about, so please consider subscribing to the channel. This video right here is my own personal top 20 favourites from the Sega Mega Drive / Genesis. It has a huge library, loads of great games, and this is the console I grew up playing, so I know plenty of things about this. Bear in mind these games are in no particular order, just 20 of my all-time favourites, and I recently did a top 100 list. That's according to retrosanctuary.com, and I did a minute of each of them games. So if they appeared on that list, they're less likely to appear here because I don't really want to feature them twice. But if they're that good, I will feature them again on this list. There's only a few of them. I will link that video down below, so check that out. It's 1 minute of the top 100 games according to Retro Sanctuary. Right, okay, so let's get on to the first game. So first of all then we have Super Thunderblade. Now, I remember I got this game as a kid, and the only game I'd played up until that point, my first game, was Sonic the Hedgehog 1, and I got this game and I was literally blown away by the graphics. This game is from 1988, would you believe that? The gameplay is very addictive, very fun. The graphics, like I say, are outstanding. The use of colours on this are insane. The way it, the atmosphere and the clouds, sky all change. I played this game to death as a kid, and I recently started playing this on the emulator, and my goodness, it's just as good as I remember it. Yeah, highly recommended by me, and yeah, all these games are, but let's move on to number 19. Here it is then, we have Desert Strike Return to the Gulf. Now this has the most rememberable and awesome opening music of any Mega Drive game in my opinion. Absolutely fantastic. This is obviously another helicopter game. It's in a very different vein though of Super Thunderblade, that's more arcadey type. This game is an open map, and you go around completing objectives. A lot more difficult than most games on the system, but this game is incredible, and this is another one I grew up playing. Amazing, and I've recently started playing it again, like serious, a game from all that time ago. This is why I love the retro games, because you can revisit some of these old classics and they're just as good as you remember them, and they still stand up to some of the games of today, you know, modern AAA multi-million pound games, and you know, you sat there playing this old stuff, you know. It goes to show that these classics really do stand the test of time. Okie dokie, right, on to the next game then. So right here then, at number 18, we have Disney's The Lion King. Now, I have no idea why this did not place on the top 100 list. This is one of the best platformers on the system, not counting the Sonic games of course, but the use of colour, the soundtrack, they absolutely nailed it with this game. You play as young Simba in the beginning, then you play as like older Simba when he's a grown up later in the game, and it gets a bit darker as well. This game is fantastic. Another one I grew up playing. A lot of these on this list I grew up playing, so I hold them in high regards. Like I say, this is a subjective list of just my personal favourites, so yeah, that's all good. This game is brilliant. The thing is, this game is damn tough as well. Way back when this was released, basically game companies were a little bit annoyed that people were renting the games rather than buying them. So what they did for this was they cranked up the difficulty to very hard, right? Even on easy it's quite difficult, and that was to stop people renting the game for a day or two and clearing it in a day and then not buying it. It was to encourage people to buy it. So if you play this game, expect a challenge. Okay, I'm just pre-warning you, that's all. Okay, but still, nevertheless, great game. Next up then is Streets of Rage 2. Now this one did feature on the top 100 games according to Retro Sanctuary. Like I say, I'll link that in the description down below. Please check it out. This game is fantastic. Another one I played as a child. This, when you play couch co-op 2-player, I'm not kidding, is fantastic. You can't go wrong with this game on 2-player. There's loads and loads of stages to it. Fantastic beat 'em up action, you know, you get weapons on there. It was super violent for the time, you know, not including Mortal Kombat of course, but you know, look, just grab a knife, stab someone, whack them around the head with a pole, eat some turkey, cave some skulls in. The soundtrack to this game is absolutely fantastic as well. The sound effects really, you know, out of this world for the Sega Mega Drive. Really, really good. Okay. Next up then we have James Pond 3. This one is a bit of an oddity. It's a very, very, very good platformer. I've nearly said very too many times there, but you know, I'm going a bit superlative on it. This game is a fantastic platformer. Now, in the main menu you can enter a cheat code. You just do all frogs and then you play the game as Phineas the Frog instead of James Pond. You know, brilliant little addition to be able to play the game as a different character altogether. The level design, the animations, the music, oh, it really does take me back. This is a brilliant platformer on the system, and you know, you should be playing this if you're not playing something else right now. Honestly, it is fantastic. So, okay, on to the next game. Okie dokie, so this one is Bonanza Bros for the Sega Mega Drive. Now, as a child, I went to some second-hand shop and I saw it on the shelf. It was about £3, and I thought, no, that's really cheap for a game. So I bought it, right? And I got home and I was addicted to this game right away as soon as I started playing the game. You play as like bank robbers and you go around robbing. It's not going to be for everybody, this game, but for the people who like this, they'll love it, honestly. It's such a great game, like a real hidden gem. For anybody I speak to and talk about Mega Drive games, none of them have played this, you know. Don't get me wrong, there will be people who have played this, but it is brilliant, and if you haven't played this before, please check it out. Honestly, you won't be disappointed. You might be disappointed, you know, but you know, I'm willing to bet more than 50% of people will like this game, so that's something right there. It is quite tough, but you know, it's well worth it. So right here we have Sonic 3 with the Knuckles cartridge as well. So that unlocks all 14 stages on the game. Now on the top 100 list it was listed as Sonic 3, right, as the top game on that list. Spoiler alert. And basically it said, you know, best played with the Knuckles cartridge. But I thought, why haven't they just put like Sonic 3 and Knuckles as number 1, because I mean that is the way it's meant to be played anyway, to be fair. This game, one of the best platformers of all time. You know, if you haven't heard of this game and you play computer games and you was born in the past like 25-30 years, honestly, you know, get playing this. It is so good. The soundtrack's amazing, supposedly partially composed by Michael Jackson as well, if you're a fan of him. Yeah, this game, you know, I lived this game. I'm not even kidding, and it's still very playable now. Now, just a quick heads up, if you are planning on playing Sonic 3 with a Knuckles cartridge, highly recommended to do Sonic Air, and I will link the mod for that in the description down below. That is known as the definitive way to play the game. Widescreen, bug fixes, extras, you know, that is the way to play it. But on the Mega Drive, if you want to play it on real hardware, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is the way to do it. Yep, that's it. Enough said. So this one right here, we have a game called Zool. Now, this game is like one giant advert for Chupa Chups, okay? But the gameplay is very, very good. It's not groundbreaking in any way, but it is a favourite of mine. This is another one of them I played a lot when I was younger, and I recently started playing this again, and by goodness, it is tough. I do not remember the game being this tough at all. As a kid, I did clear this game several times. Now I'm playing it, I'd have blooming heck. But I know if I was to get back into this, I would have a lot of fun. This is one of my favourites of all time. I've spent many, many hours on this as a kid. More than many, tens of hours. Yeah, highly recommended. Okay, next game. Right here then we have Golden Axe 2. Now I know Golden Axe 1, extremely good. Golden Axe 3, extremely good also. Golden Axe 2 though is, in my opinion, on the Mega Drive, the best Golden Axe. I always play as that gnome or dwarf guy, whatever he is, and he is very, very good on the game, by the way. You use magic spells, there's big bad bosses, the fighting's really good. It's in the same vein as Streets of Rage, but obviously more like a fantasy, medieval type style. There's these like reptile dudes as well that are great. The graphics, fair to middling, but the gameplay is very, very addictive, and you know, it's just such an amazing game. Well paced, well balanced, and you put this on hard mode and you are in for a challenge. Okay, it's not dumbed down for like modern gamers, you know, where by default it's set to medium, and medium is like easy. This game is tough. Even on medium it's fairly tough. On hard it's ridiculous. But if you really want a challenge, this game's for you. Very, very good. Okay, next game then. Okay, on to another all-time classic. I know, like I say, these games aren't in any particular order. We already covered Streets of Rage 2. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Streets of Rage 1. Now this is also a very, very good game. I do recommend Streets of Rage 3 as well, but Streets of Rage 2 and this game, Streets of Rage 1, are very, 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 very good. Okay, I even shook my head a little bit there, just, you know, insisting how good it is. The bosses, like I say, grab a friend for this one, and with Golden Axe as well. You won't be let down. The graphics, the soundtrack, honestly, you're in for a good time with this, no doubt. Oh, now where to begin with this one? Road Rash 3. I have no idea how this one was not included on that list. They did include Road Rash 2, but this is the reason why I've done my own list. Road Rash 3, in my opinion, is far superior to Road Rash 2. The visuals, the soundtrack, you know, there's more weapons, the stages are longer. This game is incredible. It even supports 2-player as well. Honestly, I have spent so much time on this game. Bear in mind, for a few of these games on the list, I am going to soon be doing long plays, and this is one that I want to do a long play of, because this is an incredibly violent, fast-paced game. I really love it. You know, please, if you haven't ever played this before, give it a try. You won't be disappointed, you know what I mean? That's all good. Okay, on to the next game then. So this one right here then is not going to be for everybody, I don't think. It's a cutesy platformer. We're talking Disney's Toy Story. Now, this at first glance might look a bit crap, shall we say, but this has multiple different elements to it. This is just the first level in the gameplay footage here, but there is actual top-down racing sections similar to Micro Machines. There is also like a 3D first-person view section to it, and I've watched videos online of people and the tricks that they use to get some of these effects. Even some of the furniture in the background has like 3D effects and everything to it. The gameplay's brilliant, the sound effects, the music, everything is right on. If you like the film Toy Story, you're gonna like this game, there's no doubt, especially if you like platformers. Okay, right, let's talk about the next game then. We're talking about James Pond 2, Codename RoboCod. Now, I know we covered James Pond 3. This game plays very, very different to that. It's a platformer again, but you have this weird like stretch mechanic where you can like reach up to the ceiling. A lot of the levels are designed around that mechanic. It's very, very good. The soundtrack's brilliant. The graphics are very cartoony, very likeable. It's quite a tough game. Again, a lot of these old platformers are. This one is brilliant though, a brilliant platformer. I loved this game as a kid, and I started playing it again for this video, and I was like, oh my god, honestly, this is still very, very solid platforming gameplay. It rivals some of the greats of today as well, you know, that are still being released. in my opinion, of course, please don't crucify me in the comments for that. This is a brilliant platformer, no doubt, fondly remembered by many for good reason. I think that's about enough said. I can't kiss its backside anymore. Okay, so on to the next one. So right here then we have another one that is probably going to split some opinions right there. I know of some people who really detest this game. Personally, I love it. Brilliant game, brings back a lot of childhood memories. You know, no jokes please, that's all good. This game, if you're a Michael Jackson fan, is absolutely brilliant. The soundtrack's incredible. I know some people aren't going to like it for certain reasons and whatnot, but this is a quality game. It was odd at the time, it's still a bit odd. You're Michael Jackson going around basically this weird shady hotel thing in the beginning, rescuing children from cupboards. It's a bit odd, but the gameplay is solid. It's really, really good, and it features like Sega Mega Drive versions of Michael Jackson's music. You know, I'm not sure whether I'm even going to put the music in. I will, but it's more than likely going to get a copyright strike. So if this video doesn't have Michael Jackson's music on it, it's because I've removed it for a copyright strike. Okay, fingers crossed it doesn't. The soundtrack on this game is incredible. You know, brilliant stuff. Check it out. Okay, so another one I'm really surprised didn't make the list. That top 100 list had a lot of run and gun style shooters. This one is RoboCop versus Terminator. How can you not love this? I mean, in the 90s, RoboCop was massive, Terminator was massive, and when I heard about this game as a kid, I was like, oh my god, RoboCop versus Terminator. And I thought, oh man, I need that game, and I was half expecting to be disappointed. When I started playing the game, I wasn't disappointed. This is fantastic. Brutally gory, brutally difficult also, just as I remember it. This one was tough for me as well as a kid, but still very, very solid gameplay. Lots of baddies, lots of blood, lots of guns. What's not to love? It's solid, this game, absolutely solid. If you want a challenge, if you want a bit of nostalgia, this one's for you. Honestly, really, really good. So this one right here, also another Sonic game. I know, there's only 2 on this list, don't get me wrong, 1 and 2 are brilliant. 3 is the best though, with a Knuckles cartridge. And I didn't feature 1 and 2 because they featured on the 100 list. But this one here is Sonic Spinball. It's a pinball game where you play as Sonic. You have slight control over Sonic in the air, but it is essentially a pinball game. This is very addictive. The soundtrack's brilliant, the sound effects are great, the gameplay is ludicrously addictive. You know, the levels are well designed. If you like pinball, you're gonna love this. If you like Sonic, you're probably gonna like this. If you like Sonic and pinball, you should try Sonic the Hedgehog Spinball. This is a fantastic game in my opinion. What more can I say? I'm just trying to bring you some of these fantastic games. Okay, next up then. So right here then we have Altered Beast. Now this is one very old game. This is one of the first games out on the Mega Drive, I believe. Now this game you play as this like real buff dude going around kicking like demons in the face and punching zombies and whatnot. But there's like a mechanic in the game where you pick these things up, and the more you pick up, the more buff you get. And if you get enough, you turn into like this weird beast. And every level you turn into a different beast, and that affects the boss fight at the end of the level as well. This game is tough, but it's very, very good. And the graphics of this game when it first came out were absolutely stunning. The soundtrack's incredible, you know, really, really good. And, you know, welcome to your doom. Loads of people remember that from the beginning of this game. Oh, fantastic. Okay, there's a reason why it made the list. I'm surprised it didn't make the top 100. I don't know why. You know, never mind. That's why it's on my list. Next game. Right here then we have Theme Park. The original Theme Park by Electronic Arts. This is not going to be for everybody. It's a park building sim. But I'm not kidding. This game is solid. It is a brilliant game. I spent so much time on this game as a kid. I begged my parents to take me to Electronics Boutique, that's what it was called, way back in the day. I know, I am old, I'm getting there, okay, but this game, if you like park building sims, especially like Roller Coaster Tycoon, whatever, you're gonna love this. It's a lot more cartoony and fun. It's brilliant, you know, in the same vein as Theme Hospital, if you like that sort of thing, but you build your own theme park. This is fantastic. I can't sing its praises enough. Like I say, not going to be for everybody, but if you like park builders, god sims, whatever, managerial sims, this is a very good early example of that, and still very playable to this day in my opinion. Okay then, on to the next game. Next up then, we've got another sort of flying game. You can tell I'm a bit of an aviation enthusiast. Oh, that's a bit of a mouthful there. We have Afterburner 2. This game is an all-time classic, fondly remembered by a lot of people, originally released in the arcade I believe, and this port on the Mega Drive is rock solid, this port. Also not sure why this one didn't make the list. Very influential game, inspired many similar games, similar in a way to Super Thunderblade as well. This game is fantastic, honestly. Graphics, you know, it's got that 3D sort of feel, even though it's like sprites and everything, but it looks fantastic, it plays fantastic, the soundtrack, the sound effects, everything, just one long adrenaline rush, you know, makes you feel like if this was called Top Gun the game, you'd believe it, you really would. It's brilliant. Okay, and on to the last game then, we have Urban Strike. Okay, this is the sequel to Jungle Strike, I believe, which was the sequel to Desert Strike, which was number 19 on this list. Like I say, they're in no particular order, so this isn't like my favourite, but it is in my top 20. This is the sequel to Jungle Strike, which is also very, very good, but this one has everything. It's like Desert Strike on steroids. You've got all the extra missions, the helicopter physics seem a bit better. The graphics on this are incredible for a Mega Drive game. Open world style, go around, complete the objectives in kind of whatever way you want. It's like the first sort of sandboxy type of experience I had in gaming. Really, really good. Awesome stuff. Okay. That is it then for my top 20 list. Bear in mind there are some other games that I do really like, but if there was in the top 100, I didn't feature them. So I'm going to link that top 100 video right there, and some of my other favourites are in there as well. It's 1 minute of every game in the Retro Sanctuary top 100 list, so please check that out for all the other games that are fantastic on this system. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you like this video. I'm doing all kinds of emulation related stuff at the minute. I just released a video about the Nintendo Switch emulator called Yuzu, a few games on there. All the major games tested on CMU, that's a Wii U emulator, and I have loads of long plays, guides and top whatever number lists coming up. They're all in the works. So like I say, if you want to join me for the adventure and see where this goes, you know what I mean, please sub the channel. Like I said, that's enough from me. I hope you have a nice day, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks guys.